Hey guys, it's Cassie here, and it is a rainy Saturday afternoon, so I thought it would be the perfect time to sit down and show you how you can make some digital board games that you can use with your class. And we're going to do this in just a few minutes and in 5 easy steps that you can redo yourself later. So let's get started. So the first step is going to be to design your game board. So we're going to do this in PowerPoint, and after we're done creating our game board, we are going to save it as a background. So to get going, I'm just going to start with a blank slide. So I'm clicking New, Blank Slide, and this is where I'm going to build my game board. So I'm going to do the game board just using basic PowerPoint tools. So I'm going to click on Insert, and then I'm going to click on Shapes. So I'm going to make it all with the rectangle tool. So I'm clicking that. If I press Shift while I create my rectangle, it'll keep it as a perfect square. The smaller the square, the more spaces you'll have on your game board. So I'm going to make it about that size. And so that's my first building block. If I click on it, I can press Control D for duplicate, and I've made another square. Once I've put the square where it is, PowerPoint's going to automatically detect where it thinks I want the next square. So all I have to do is keep pressing Control D to keep putting new squares. Once you kind of go off the game board, you'll just move it where you want it to go. And when you press Control D, PowerPoint will again determine where it thinks you want it to go. So I'm going to keep doing this kind of until I make my game board how I want it. Just pressing Control D every time. Think about how long you want your students to play the game when you're creating your squares. Okay, so now we have it. It's kind of boring right now because they're all just blue, but what I can do is change the color. If I put a box around all of them, I can change all of them at once. So I can just click on my Format tool and then my Shape Fill tool, and I can change them all to a different color. I can also do things if I want to get creative, like making an outline or making the weight of the outline bigger. But I don't want them all to be the same color, so I can change multiple boxes at the same time to get different colors. So I'm just going to click on one, and while I'm pressing down the Shift button, I'm just going to randomly click on some other ones. Okay, and then all at once, whoops, getting all these pop-ups. Whoops. Okay, so all at once I can change those colors. So I'm just going to go to Shape Fill and pick a different color. Now maybe I want 3 colors, so I'm just going to kind of repeat that, do the same thing, and pick another color. So now I have my game board pretty much looking like I want it. Now I can write in some spaces, so I can maybe write start, finish. You can write things like skip a space or move forward 2 spaces. So this one doesn't really fit, so I'm just going to select all of that and go back to my home bar and just make my font a little smaller so it fits. Maybe you want to lose a turn, so you can do as many special squares as you want. Maybe you want to put some clip art, so let's make it look a little cuter. I have really cute clip art from my favorite clip artist, Sarah Pecorino. So if you've seen a lot of my products, you'll notice that I use a lot of her art. It's just so cute. So maybe I'm going to have this guy hanging from somewhere. So we'll put him there. And then let's put another guy. Let's try this one. We'll have him maybe pulling on that square. So you can kind of decorate it how you want. You know, just kind of do whatever you want to do to make it look nice. But once you have it, then you're done. So this is your game board. The next thing you want to do is take your game board and make it the background of your slide. And that way the students can't move it. So right now, if someone were to come play on it, they can move this all around and ruin your game board. So what you're going to do is use your snipping tool and make a snip of your whole game board. I have my snipping tool right here on my taskbar, but if you don't, all you have to do is search snip and you'll see it right here. If you right click on it, you can pin it to your taskbar. Mine's already pinned, so mine says unpin, but you want it there so it's easy to access. So once you click it, you may have to click new, and then you're just going to put a box around the entire slide so that you can make your picture. Now I'm just going to save it. I can save it in a file or on your desktop, wherever you want to. So there's the game board that we just made. Now I want to make it the background of my slide. So I'm just going to go ahead and get a new slide. So my slide here is just a plain slide. Over here on the side, if I right click on the slide, I can click Format Background. And now I can change the background. So I'm just going to click File, and I'm going to go to where I saved that picture, and there it is. And now don't click Apply to All because it'll make it the background of all your slides. Just exit it out. So now you can't move any of these, so it makes it good for the game board. All right, so that's it. I'm going to go back and delete the original one, so that's we just have our background. Okay, now we're on step 2 where we need our movable pieces. So none of our background's movable, but we do want our pieces to be movable. So you can just go find game pawns on Google. So if you search game pawn and then you type in PNG, which is a file type that has a transparent background, you'll see, I'm going to search on images, and you'll see that there's different game pawns you can choose from. So I'm going to choose these standard ones. So just click on it, and then from the picture, right click on it so that you can click copy image. Now when you go back to your game board, you can right click again and then do the keep source formatting, the middle option, for your paste. And so now we have that one. And so I'm going to get one more game pawn. So this can be a 2-player game. So I'm going to copy it. I'm going to go back. I'm going to right click and paste where I keep the source formatting. So now I have 2, but they're too big. So I'm going to select them both by holding Shift as I select them, and then just resize them till they're about the right size for the game. Okay, so that looks good. So that's it for having my movable pieces. If you wanted to make a custom movable piece, you could do that as well. So maybe you wanted to make a movable piece out of one of your clip arts. So let me go back and get, let's just pick this one. So maybe you wanted to have this be your movable piece. Well, if you wanted to do that, all you would have to do is take a screenshot. So I'm going to go back and get my snipping tool, click new, and then just put a box around him. Okay, and now when I paste by pressing Control V, I have a copy of him that I can use as a game piece as well. So that is it for step 2. So let's move on to step 3. Okay, now we're on step 3, and your students are going to need some kind of way to roll the number and move around the game board. So you could give them a real dice, or you could have the digital dice option. So basically, your students can go to Google and then just type in roll a dice. Make sure it's on not on the images, that it's on the all. And there is a digital way to roll the dice. So you could give your students this link if you wanted to by just clicking on it, pressing Control C to copy, and then coming back to your game board. If you insert a text box, you can make it say roll the dice, and then you want to put the link in there. So I'm just going to select all of it and right click, and then I'm going to press link and then just paste the link there. So now your students can click that and it'll take them right to the roll a dice page. But there is also a digital spinner that you can use that's pretty fun too, and I think the kids like the spinners a little bit better. I made a shortcut, so you could go to bit.ly/number spinner, and that's going to take you to a number spinner that the students can use. And you can do the same thing with this link. You can give them a link. So maybe I want this one to be spin. And again, I'll put the link. Okay, so now when your kids are playing the game, all they have to do is click this to get a dice or click this to get a spin, and then they'll know if they get to, how far they get to move, if they get the answer correctly, or whatever you decide is the rules for your game. All right, so that's it for step number 3. Okay, so step 4 is where you think about the rules of your game and how the students are going to play. So the standard way that I usually play is the kids pick a card. If they get it right, they get to roll and move. If they don't get it right, they don't get to move. So you can choose that, and I like to play these games with the task cards because I have so many different task cards. And I know that teachers have a lot of task cards because that's always one of my things that I sell the most of in my store. So you can use the ones you already have. If you've already printed and cut them out, you can give the students a stack, or you can make them digital. So making them digital does have some benefits. So one of the best benefits to me is that you don't have to limit the number of kids that can play at one time. Everybody can have a set of the task cards without you having to print and cut out and laminate and all of that. So this is what I would do. Just start by having a blank slide, and I'm going to take my task cards that I already have and just make them digital. So here's a set of task cards that I have. So I'm just going to use my screen snipping tool again, make a new snip, and I'm going to take it back to my blank slide, right click and paste it. So there I have my task card. So as the students are working through the game, they can just move down through the slides when they want to get to a new card. You can also make them self-checking. So how I would do that is insert a text box, and you can just type the right answer, whatever the answer is, to the task card. So notice that the answer is on top of the task card, and that's just because of the order that it's in. If you right click on it, you can click send to back. And so now the answer is behind the task card. So they can answer the question and then drag it away to see the answer. So we'll do one more just so you can see. I'm going to get another blank slide, and I'm going to screen snip my second task card. Okay, now I'm going to go back and paste that task card there. And I'm again going to put the correct answer on here for the students. So let's pretend this one is B. And again, I want it to go behind, so I'm going to right click and click send to back. And now you have another self-checking task card. Okay, and that's it for step 4. We are almost done. We only have one more step. Okay, so we're pretty much done. We just have to share the game with the kids now. So you could just share it in PowerPoint if you have desktops or stations that have PowerPoint loaded on, then that's fine. But I find that more and more schools are going away from Microsoft and toward Google products. It's just free, and so it's a big money saver for districts. So what I do is save it and upload it and share through Google Drive. So I'm just going to save the game. And now once it's saved, I'm going to go into my Google Drive and I'm going to upload it. So I'm just going to click New and File Upload. And I'm going to find my game, and I'm going to upload it just like it is a PowerPoint. So it takes a couple of minutes, and now you see that it's uploaded, but it's in a PowerPoint. So I want to make sure that I open it as a Google slide. So I'm going to right click on it and click Open With, and then Google Slides. So it automatically converts it and makes a copy that's a Google slide. Once you have a Google slide, you can save it real easily, or you can share it real easily through Google Classroom or just with the link. So I'm going to delete this slide that I had where I was using, and I'm left with my game board. It has my movable pieces still. It has my links to spin or to roll a dice. Maybe I don't want to roll the dice. I'm going to delete that because I want the students just to use the spinner. So I'm going to leave that there. Okay, so now it is ready to go. You would definitely have more task cards down the way. But once you're ready, you just click Share. And then you're going to click Get Shareable Link. Okay, so once you have the shareable link, just copy it. And then you are going to go up into a new tab and paste it there. So when you're using a Google Slides or Google Docs or Google Sheets, it always ends with this \edit and some other stuff. If you delete all of that stuff and replace it with the word copy, now when you share this URL, it's going to force your students to make their own copy. So if they delete a slide or if they delete a game piece, it's only going to affect theirs and not everybody's. And that's it. So you can share this URL through Google Classroom, or you can even just write it on the board and let the students access the game that way. So there you go. That's how you can use a digital product in your classroom. If you'd like a copy of the one we just made together, you can go to bit.ly/game we made and get a copy for your own students. Students love digital products because they're fun and they get to work with their friends, but teachers love them too. There's no prep, there's no limit to the number of students that can play at one time. There is no supplies to gather up, and there's no storing of anything. There's so many benefits to digital activities in the classroom. And so I challenge you to think creatively over how you can do something in your class. So thank you for listening, and thank you for subscribing to my website, CassieNowak.com, and I'm looking forward to getting to know each other better. Thanks.